Are you ready? Are you ready? It looks like this is the last counting machine assignment. Let's enjoy it. This is also my last assignment. It's been fun. Remember when we took a nice row of data and made it diagonal? Haha. Or when we escaped from a collapsing room by carefully following the instructions. And then there was the time we all got cubicles. Those were the days. What? What am I gonna do next? Well, I thought I might make calendars. You know, like those daily calendars, with an inspiring picture of me on each day. I've been printing out photos of myself with inspirational quotes for years. Good thing we have all these company printers. Luckily, I don't think anyone ever noticed. Use your decimal counting machine. Starting with the number 1, display it and keep doubling it and displaying the result until you reach at least 2 to the... It looks like 16th or something like that. Yeah, it's got to be more than that. That's probably like 2 to the 20th. I'm not really sure. So, I guess we'll do the same thing that we just did. Which is... No, this won't. That'll be different. Huh. Alright. First things first. I'm kind of curious to see how big of an integer we can store in memory. So I'm going to start with 1. I'm going to start with mem1. I'm going to multiply it by 2. And we're going to set mem1 to 1. Because I want to see what we max out at. Oh, okay, it looks like we can hold larger than this number in a memory slot for a single... Hi, Mr. Big. Yeah, you can hold a big number in your head. Awesome. Yeah, these people can calculate huge powers of 2 in their heads. That's actually really, really impressive in some sense. Alright, awesome. So what I think I'll do is I will have... Again, everyone needs to keep track of what place they are. And this puzzle's gonna have a very different solution, I think. Instead of just counting up. What we're gonna do is, again, everyone needs to know if they're, like, a 1's place, a 10's place, etc. So, mem1 is equal to 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell... Once again, I have a really hard time figuring out how to tell people what place they are. So this person needs to know they're the 1 place, this person needs to know they're 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and 1,000,000. Now, what I'm thinking I can do is just... I've never figured out the trick. I never figured out how to actually pass signals down in a way that makes sense. I have always missed out, like, on that synapse. Today is no exception. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have this person step through this row, write down the decimal, the decimal places for all of these workers, and we'll go from there. So, we're gonna set mem1 to be 1 if to my right is nothing. I'm going to then multiply by 10. Well, first I'm going to step to the left in a loop. And I'm going to do that until my left is a nothing, basically. So if I'm standing on a nothing, then I will walk back over here, basically. Boy, that is cool. So mem1 is equal to 1. Actually, I can do this a little bit cooler. So I can set it to be that cube, and then at the end of all this, I can do a step to mem1. Oh, no. Yeah, this will be kind of funny. Set mem4 is equal to that cube, so I can do a step back to it, and that's a little bit lazier. Then I will step to the right. So, that didn't work out at all. Okay, mem1 is equal to that. We set that to 1. And, we will then, yeah, I just got completely ahead of myself there. We step to the left, we calculate times 10. We then pick it up, write mem1 on it, and drop it. And we'll do that in a loop. So mem1 equal 1, mem4 is equal to there. I will step to my left. This person is not doing anything. If I am not standing on a nothing, then we'll do all this work. So they write down 10. That person picked up a cube that wasn't their own, so they exploded. Alright. Okay, cool. Very nice. So, I can't touch other people's cubes. What I can do is, if to my right is equal to a nothing, then I will pick up my cube and I will, so this person will just write down everybody's thing, and then they're gonna walk over this line and they're gonna tell people this is my cube, this is your place, basically. So we pick it up, we will step up, we will listen. If to my right is not nothing, I'm gonna listen for a signal. I'm gonna listen for high, and another thing I'm going to do is if to my left is equal to a data cube. So if I'm this person, I'm going to loop forever. So if to my right is nothing, I'm going to pick up my cube. I'm going to calculate mem1 is equal to mem1 times 10. I'm going to step up and step to, let's see. I'll want some loop where I write mem1 onto my cube. I will tell the person below me, hi, and what they will do is they will set their mem1 to be my cube. So they didn't pick it up because they were, shut up, I'm doing stuff here. So they will pick up the cube below them. They need to step up. They write 10. I forgot to set mem1 is equal to 1, so we'll do that to begin with. They write 10, and they have exploded. Okay. Okay. This is gonna be Interesting. How do I tell people to stop calculating stuff? Crap. I really need to figure it out at some point how to do this more efficiently. Because this has continued to bite me in the ass the entire game. So, what I can do is I can do something really weird, which is if to my left is equal to a cube, I will step up twice, and then as I walk across this, people will need to, like, do a check of if there's a person above me, then I stop multiplying my base by 10. That is ridiculous. It is stupid, and it works. So, otherwise, my left is not a data cube. I'm going to set my mem1 is equal to 1. I'm going to start calculating. If above me is equal to a coworker, then I stop. Else, I'm going to go into a loop here where I set mem1 is equal to mem1 times 10. And then this person is just going to step to the left repeatedly. And this is not going to be synchronized, but we'll see how this goes. Okay, so at least that person stopped. So, but they weren't quite fast enough. So anyway, what we'll do is we need to synchronize this. So I need to just do a random calculation. 0 plus 0, maybe. Okay, once they're in position, they've stepped up thrice. They need to... I'm gonna just use a tell as a way to burn, like, some time. And then they need to just enter this loop of stepping to the left and telling everyone hi. Let's see if I get the synchronization right. Nope. Let's do more tells. So that calculation is bad. Okay, they did... Oh, because they're also assigning mem1 on that, so they need to set it to... Just need to do it as mem4, whatever. 10. Oh, not quite. Let's tell everyone hi again. This might have worked. Yep. Okay, let's see. They have they're millions place. They have 100,000, 10,000, 1,000, 100, 10, and 1. The stupidest approach I've ever thought of ended up being successful. So, what more is there to say except we're gonna set mem1 is equal to my left, the cube to my left, if I am this person. And let's just make sure that that doesn't throw off the timing. Okay, cool. Then we're gonna do a check here of if to my left is equal to a wall, then I need to stop. Now, this if check is going to take some time, so I need to synchronize this now. If to my left is not equal to a wall. Alright. Looks like we're in the clear again. Everyone has their decimal places. And, okay, they have reached the end of the wall, which means that now they need to step back to Mem1. And, then they need to step to the right. To my top as a coworker, else I do that. Else, I'm going to do a listen now. So I'm going to listen for goodbye, whatever. So this person will step back to they've stepped to Mem1, and then they step to the right, which puts them there. They step down, which puts them there. Once we've listened for goodbye, we're gonna jump to another part here. And we're just gonna leave a comment here showing loop button, which I'll just leave as loop but. And this is calc but. So this logic is for people on the left side, and I'll put logic for this person on the button over here. So, you're gonna listen for goodbye. This person steps into place. They're gonna tell everyone goodbye. Which is then gonna cause everyone to jump to here, which requires them to pick up their cubes and step down twice. So now everyone has their decimal place. Or, I mean, I guess they're not their decimal place, but you know what I'm getting at. Okay, this person's logic got completely screwed up. And I'm not sure why. So their Mem1 was equal to a nothing, which I find very weird. Oh. That's why, because they stepped off the thing at first. Okay, so they step back there. They've said goodbye. Everyone's picked up their cubes. And now we're a loop butt, which means we need to listen for a certain signal. So what we do is, for now, we're going to just listen for go. So this person's going to block. Everyone's got their cubes. So the first thing that we do is we're going to keep track of what the current number should be. So everyone should have, they should set Mem2 to be equal to 1. So by doing this, basically what we're going to do is we're just going to multiply a bunch. So Mem2 is going to be Mem2 times 2. The other thing this person's going to do is they're going to step on the button and step back up. Just to get a 1 in. Oh, no, they can't do that. Okay, so this needs to be times 2. And what we do in this instance is we're going to... So everyone multiplies by 2. They have their cube. So what they need to do is very interesting. So this person needs to figure out 2, 4, 8, 6, 32, 4, 8, 6. This person needs to figure out 1, 3, 6, 2. Hang on. I think there's a pattern here. Let me look into this. There may be a way easier solution than I thought just now, actually. So the person on the far right has 2, 4, 8. I'm gonna write down a bunch of powers of 2 because I didn't actually notice this before, but I think there might actually be a recurring pattern to places and powers of 2. I literally have never noticed this before. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512. Holy shit! 1024. Then it's 2048. I've run out of stickies here. 2048. 4096. There are 24682 24686 248624. Oh, okay. This is there isn't a pattern after all. I thought that there was one for a second. There isn't. There isn't one, right? 8,192. It's sort of like the same number, like the same digits keep on appearing. 82, right? No, 92. But there isn't quite a pattern to it.
There is, though.
What do you see?
Well, there's not supposed to be a 6 here, so it's 2, 4,
Damn it.
8, 6.
Okay. 2486, 2486, 2486. Oh. Okay, so there is a pattern in that place. And this is 13625 12498. Is there a pattern to this one? Wait, there might be. So this is 2486, 2486. And then the tens place is 13625 12498. It's like a longer sequence, but this is kind of interesting. There is definitely a pattern based off of what the digit was beforehand. Let me. I'm running out of powers of 2 that I can calculate in the top of my head. So let me see what I can think of here. So we have. I'm pulling out a calculator. 2 is 2. It's 4. 2 is 8. 16. 32. 64. 128. 256. 512. 1024. 2048. 4096. 8,192. 60,000. 384. 32,768. $65,556. Yeah, it's almost like there's a pattern. It's so close to being a sequence that I can just encode in like a couple of numbers here. 862. Because we have in the thousands place it goes 2, 4, 8, 6, 2, 5, 1. Like it does kind of spiral out of control after a little while. Alright. Well, here's the other thing that we can do. So, sorry, just thinking out loud. So, we know what place everyone is, and we can hold the biggest, like, we can hold what we're currently trying to calculate in our heads. So, what we can do is, okay, so if mem2 is less than 10, then we can write down whatever, like a given x is. If it's greater than our... What we'll do is we'll divide by our base, and then we need to figure out how many times, or rather, we need to divide by 10 times our base if it's greater than our base. Where it is referring to this mem2, which is the current number, basically. So, this person on the right needs to, if mem2 is greater than, we're gonna set mem3 to be mem2 to start off with. So, if mem3 is greater, what? Oh, then button? Weird. If mem3 is greater than mem1? No. If it's greater than, let's do 10 times our base. So if mem4 is greater, if mem3, which is a copy of mem2, which is the number that we're trying to calculate, is greater than 10 times our base, we're going to divide mem3 by... Let me think about this. We're going to divide mem3 by the number of times our base goes into it, basically. So if we're less than 10 here, we have 16, and 16 we need to subtract 10 from to get 6. So what we need to do is we need to calculate how many times this number, 4 times, yeah, how many times 10 times our base goes into the number. So we're going to calculate mem4 again is going to be mem3 divided by mem4. And then we're going to calculate mem3 as mem3 minus mem4. So we'll calculate this as... Yeah, okay, this makes sense. We calculate this as 10. Mem4 is equal to mem3 divided by mem4. We then need to multiply it by 10. Mem4 is equal to mem4 times 10. And then we subtract it. So let's see what happens. It'll be very interesting to see what this person comes up with. so they have reached Mem 2. Oh, right, of course. Instead of doing any, like, dropping and picking it up, we're just gonna loop at this point. Because, you know, handling the numbers, is, like, picking it up and dropping it and pressing the button or whatever, that's not that hard. What is hard is getting our decimal, is getting our places in the number. So this person came up with, 2, 8, 16. Alright, this is where stuff gets really, really complicated. So, does she come up with 6 after all of this? She gets 1, multiplies it by 10, subtracts 10 off of 16 to get 6! Alright. She's at 32. Does she get 2 as a result of this? Let's see, she should get 3. She multiplies 3 by 10 to get 30. She subtracts 30 from 10 to get 2! What? Did I actually pull this off? 128 minus 10 equals 118. Okay. I almost... Wait. I think I might have nailed this. So she came up with... She's gonna come up with 4. But she came up with, 60. 64 minus 6 is equal to 4. Wow. I might have pulled this off. Alright. So, let's see one more thing. Which is, so the person on the far right seems like they're actually doing what I expect them to be doing. Let's see what this person does. So, he... Okay, so he doesn't need to be doing anything, basically. So, this guy doesn't need to actually be writing down any numbers, until it's greater than our base, basically. So he's the tens place. So, he is now the tens place, so he should be... He should, already be subtracting stuff. But he's not. Okay. Okay, I see what's happening. So, we have an issue where Mem1... This is really close. This is actually amazingly close. So, this person is checking if, the number is greater than 10 times their base. So if it's greater than 10, this person's checking if it's 100. If it's greater than 100, but they don't need to be doing that. So what they can do is, if they need to be checking if Mem3 is greater than their base, basically. But... What does this person need to do? What does this person need to do? They need to... do... So this person's base is 10. I think it might actually need to be 0. I mean, their base is 1. I think it might need to be 0. So... we'll do another weird check here. Which is... basically, if... So they've told everyone goodbye, they're listening for a go. This Person listens for a goodbye, and they need to do a check of if my base is equal to 1, then I'm going to set my base as equal to 0, which is weird, but I think I know what I'm doing here. Which is... if mem3 is... This is really, really close logic, so I'm going to hang on to this. But basically, if mem3 is greater than my base of mem1, then I need to find how many times my base goes into that number, and then, like, subtract a certain amount from it. So this would be 16 minus 10 to get 1 to get 6. Wait, hold on. If mem3 is greater... Aha! Aha ha ha ha! If mem3 is greater than my base, then all I need to do is divide mem3 by my base. So, like, we get up to 16. This person divides 16 by 10 to get 1.6, which will be rounded down to 1. And then, what we'll do is we need to enter another loop. So let's say that this person has, we're up to 512 and want to figure out the tens place. So we divide it by our base to get 51. What we then do is we need to enter this loop where we figure out how many times M1 is equal to that. So we get 1.6. And then 1.6 is less than 10. So I don't need to do this loop anymore. I don't need to do any loop. Okay. So I've divided by 1.6. Thinking about something. This is tricky. How I'm going to handle the overflow of digits. Overflow, schmoverflow. Nothing's going to ever overflow. That's, even if it's maximum integer, which is like 32 million or something like that, we're only at 8 million, so it's not going to happen. Okay, so if I get up to 16, I divide 16 by my base to get 1.6, which will round down. That's less than 10, so I write a 1. If I have 512, then I divide that by my base to get 51. I then will divide by my base again, maybe, to get to 5, which I then write down. If I'm at 1024, I divide my base by my base to get 102. I then divide by my base to get 10. And that's not right because I lose the 2. So it's more like I need to... What do I need to do? So, if I divide by 10, I get 102. But then, that's bigger than my base, so what does my logic need to be? If I divide that by 10, I get 10, and then I've lost the 2 digit, and it's gone. So, yeah, I'm sure this stream is very, very interesting. Like, the footage is probably riveting, watching me, talk about mathematics. Shoot. How do I do this? 1024. If I have 1024, how do I get the 2 out of that? If I subtract 1,000, I get 24. So it's sort of like I need to figure out. It's like I need to figure out what the highest power of 10 is that goes into that goes into the number. So 1024 minus 1,000 gives us 24. 40 or 2048 minus 2,000 gives us 48, and then we would be able to do the thing that I just did where I like divide by my base, and then, or what would I do? I'd have 48. So then I would need to divide that by 10 to get 4, and then I'd write down that digit. 4096. I would subtract 4 times 1,000, get 96. And then I would divide that by my base to get 9. This is totally different than I did the last puzzle. It's remarkably different. We'll hope the semi-final level would be hard. Yeah, this level's quite hard. This level's very fiendishly difficult. It has to do... I mean, I don't know how to explain my thoughts, except I have a pencil and paper in front of me, and I'm just writing down mathematics to try and figure this out. So, if I have... It's like, if the number is greater than, like, 1,000,000, then I need to divide it by that number. Well, let me see something real quick. If I have 1,024 and divide it by 10, what do I wind up with? What am I thinking? I get 102. What if I divide that by 102? I get 10. God, what am I thinking? Of course. Why would I think it would be anything else? So I get 102. And the ones place of that is my digit that I'm interested in. So all I need to do is okay, so I now have 102. If I divide that by 10, I get 10. And if I multiply that by 10, I get 100, which I could then subtract off to get my to get 2. That gives me 1,024. Hold on, I might be getting it. Alright, so remember that when we do division of integers in computers, we always drop the decimal point. It just goes away. So, if I am in the tens place and I want to figure out what my digit is for 1,024, I'd take 1,024, divide it by 10 to get 102. I then take that number, divide it by 10 again to get 10. I then multiply 10 times my base to get 100. I subtract 100 from 102, and I get 2, which is the tens place. Division in this game returns the absolute value of the result. Not quite. Division in this game returns the integer part. So it drops the decimal place entirely. Now I'm the 100s place. So I have 1024. I divide by 100 to get 10. I then multiply that by 10, or by 100 to get 1,000. 1024. Oh, no, sorry. 1024. First thing I do is I divide that by 1,000 to get 1. No, I divide that by 100 to get 10. Okay, if I've divided... I now have 10 here. So maybe in that case, if it's a 10, I just write down a 0. We'll see if that logic holds. Now, if I am the thousands place and I have 124, I divide by 1,000, I get 1, and I just write that down. If I'm the 4... I am in a special case because I divide by 1 to get 1024, which I multiply by 1, and then I subtract it. Like, that won't work out at all. I'll figure out the ones place issue later. They might have to do something special. Let's do 40... 1024. Let's do 2048. See what happens there. So, I'm now calculating out the tens place of 2048. So, 2048, I divide by 10 to get 204, which I then multiply 204 times 10. I multiply that out. I have 2048. I subtract 2040, and I get 8 back, so that's not right. Okay, 2048, I divide by 10 to get 204. What if I divide by 10 times my base? So 2048, I divide by 100, I then multiply by 10 to get 20. Or 2,000. 2048, I divide by 100. That gives me 20. I then take that number, which is... I take 20. I divide by... I multiply by 100 to get 2,000. That puts me at 48. I then divide by 10, which is my place, to get 4. I'm now the 100s place. I'm calculating the 100s place of 2048. I divide by 1,000 to get 2. I then subtract 2,000 from 2048. I have 48. 48 is less than my base, so I don't write down anything. No, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, 2048 divided by 1,000 gives me 2. I subtract 2,000 off of that to wind up at 48. This isn't quite working out the way I'd hoped. So I get 48, which is less than 100, so I don't write down anything, but that doesn't make any sense. So 2048 is less than 10 times my base, so I divide by my base to get 1,000. Maybe that's the other case. So I have a couple cases here, which is if the number that I'm trying to calculate is greater than 10 times my base, I will divide that number by 10 times my base. I will subtract... what do I do? To get, okay, I divide n by 10 times my base. So if that's, I'm trying to do 2048, and on the tens place, I divide by 100 to get 20, and then I multiply 10, the result of n divided by 10 times my base by 10 times my base to get, in this case it'd be 2000. I then subtract that value off, and then I divide that by my base. The result of that by my base. And that would give me 4 for 2048 for the tens place. I'm now the 100s place. 2048. I multiply by, or I divide by 1,000 to get 2. I then subtract 2,000 from 2048 to get 48. 48 is less than my base. It's less than 100, so I write down 0. Otherwise, I see. So, after I do the subtraction, if the result of that is less than my base, I don't write anything. Else, if it's greater than my base, I divide that value by my base. And then write down the result. The other case is if n is less than 10 times my base, I divide it by my base, and that's my result. Okay, this should hold for every single number. So let's do 2048, and we want to find the ones place. So that is greater than 10 times my base. So I divide that number, I divide 2048 by 10 to get 204 times 8. I then do, I do 204 times 10, get 2040. I subtract 2040 from that, and I get 8. I will then divide that by my base, which is 1. What did I just do? What did I just do? Undo. I did this weird logic somewhere where if I was... Yeah, okay, let's get rid of that. I don't need that anymore. So I divide n by my base, and that's the result. So that actually gives me 8. So that's correct. If I'm the 100s place for 2048, I divide it by 10 times my base, which is 1,000. I then have 2, so I subtract 2,000 from 2048 to get 48. 48 is less than my base, so I write 0. If I am now 2,000, that is less than 10,000, so I will just divide 2048 by 1,000 to get 2, and that's the right digit. Oh man, that algorithm works perfectly for 2048. Let's take on a bigger number. I am now calculating out 32,768. If I am the rightmost digit, I am the ones place. 32,768 is a lot bigger than 10. So 68 5 by 10. This is 3,276. So I multiply that by 10. So 32,760, so that gives me back 8, and I'm done for the rightmost place. Okay, I'm now the tens place for 32,768. I will divide that by 100 to get 327. And then I multiply 327 times 100 is 32,700. I get back 68. I divide that value by 10 and I get 6. And that's the correct number for that, for the tens place. I'm now the 100s place. 32,768 is greater than 1,000, so I divide it by 1,000. I get 32. That gives me back 768. I divide that by 100, and I get 7, which is the correct decimal place. I got it. I've beaten the last puzzle in the game. I just need to write it down. But I have the logic completely figured out. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna hope that we have enough memory to hold these things in place. So mem2 is equal to the current number we're trying to solve. Mem3 is going to be equal to mem2. Mem4 is going to be calculated here as 10 times my base. I may actually need to reuse this memory slot multiple times. So it's going to be 10 times my base. I am then going to divide... Or we're going to write the whole logic out. So, mem3, which is my working memory for mem2, is equal to mem1, or mem3. No, mem2. Mem3 is equal to mem2. If mem3 is greater than 10 times my base, which is now mem4, I will divide mem3 by 10 times my base. By mem4. I will multiply mem3 by 10 times my base. And then we'll do a check of if what did I need to do after that? So I divided it by that. Oh, no. I remember what I need to do. I then need to, I have mem3 to be 10 times my base. I then will, so I then will multiply mem3 to be, or times ten times my base, and then I will calculate mem3 to be mem2 minus mem3. If mem3 is less than my base, which is mem1, I will write... So everyone needs to pick up their cube. I will then write 0, and then I will drop it. Else, I will write... Or I need to do one more calculation here, which is I will divide mem3 mem3 by my base once again. I will write mem3, and I will drop the cube. And then I will, once I'm here, I will listen for, There's one more calculation that needs to happen here. Mem3 is less than mem1. I'm going to do a burner calc. Just waste a memory cycle. Oh, I can't do that. I'm gonna do a tell. just to burn a little bit of time. So let's see what happens here. Okay. Let's slow this down. They're already holding something, so nobody's entering the drop phase. M3 is greater than M4. What's this person have everything set up to be? 1, 2, 2, 10. So they are... They have... they should have a 4. Okay, they do. The magic will really happen when we get up to like 16. Or, yeah, for this person. There are 8. There's some bug in the program, I'll work it out later. Okay. They divided it by that to get 1. 1 times 10 is 10. They subtract that off from 10 to get 6, which they have written down. They have then written down a 6, which makes sense. I didn't do any of the drop logic correct for this one. Alright, they have subtracted 30. Let's just watch this in action. So 4, 8, 6, 2, 4, 8, 6, 2. They're doing it. They're writing down the ones place for all these numbers. Alright, let's watch it again for this guy. We need to be watching for the tens place for everything. I clicked on the wrong person, I think. 4, 9, 9, 8, 6, 3, 7. They're getting the tens places. Alright. There's some logic at the beginning that's broken for this person. Probably because if... Okay, so first things first is this logic only needs to happen. This logic always needs to happen. So, you always need to be doing this check for if mem3 is less than mem1. Let me just see what this person does now that I've kind of fixed that up a little bit. Alright. So they're at 2. And they wrote down a 0. That's great. That's actually fantastic. So they're at 4, he wrote down a 0. Oh man, that's really exciting. 8. Okay. 16. Divide by 10 to get a 1. He got a 1. He got a 3. He got a 6. Okay, this person's at 128. He wrote down 1. He wrote down 2. He wrote down 5. Ah! He wrote down 1 because I forgot the other check, which is if mem3 is less than mem1, then if it's less than mem1, else If it's directly equal to 10, then we need to write down a 0. That's the other case. So if mem3 is equal to 10, then we set mem3 equal to 0. That's the only other weird case. So, let's see what happens here. We're looking at the hundreds place guy. Alright. For one, he wrote down nothing. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm looking at the wrong person. 8, 16, 32. Okay, here we go. This is the exciting stuff. Okay. We have a 1. At 256. Does he write down a 2? He writes down a 2. Alright, 512 coming up. Does he write down a 5? He writes down a 5. Okay, here's the crazy one. 1024. Does he write down a 0? Does he write down a 0? I can't tell what he's doing. Oh, he wrote down a 0. There it is, he wrote down a 0. It was hard to tell in my logic. Because, mem3 is less than mem1. Then you write 0 and you drop it. Oh, I don't need to do this. Because he already did that, right? Yeah, I don't need to do this. I was misreading the logic. This actually works perfectly. Yeah. This is it. All I need to do is get the synchronization in place. But, so, they've already done their pickup here. I mean, I guess it's just a wasted cycle, but it's not actually that big of a deal. All we need to do is completely synchronize this. So we listen for... Ugh. So what does this person need to do? After... They need to tell everyone hi. And this person might just need to listen for hi 7 times. That might be all it takes. Listen for hi. Actually, no. In theory, this should be perfectly synchronized. Let me see if it is. So this guy may only have to listen for a single hi. Let's see what happens. Okay, they have... Okay, it isn't synchronized because writing takes some time. So, tell hi isn't long enough to compensate for a calculation. Okay, we need to slow this down. I think I need to tell hi... I need to do 3 instructions to stay in sync with a calculation. So if I tell myself hi, which is really weird that everyone's talking to themselves, but that's fine. Thank God for my number theory class. I actually used to TA number theory, so I learned all about like how to calculate out like bases for numbers and stuff like that. Okay, so this person should write down... Oh, it's almost synchronized. Let's do yet another telling myself hi. Alright. Let's see what happens. Does everyone put down their numbers at the same time? Close. This person's slightly further ahead now. What about... So the only... This takes longer, so what if I just, it's never going to be all zeros. Somebody's always going to write something, so if I tell everyone hi here, then the people that are writing actual numbers will stay synchronized with each other. And then it doesn't matter because everyone will listen for ugh. So, what this guy will do is he listens for hi, and then he's going to step onto the button. He's gonna step up, and he's gonna tell everyone, ugh, and we're gonna loop. Let's see what happens. I think this might have, solved it. 2, 4, 8, 10, 30, 2, 100, 104, 508. Okay. So... Ah, okay. So we do need to wait for 7 highs. We'll do it that way. So tell everyone hi. Listen for ugh. I hope that this person can like stack up highs like that. That would be very funny. But let's see. Listen for 7 highs. 3. I don't think this is gonna work. 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know if it queues up messages like that. I assume it does not, but we'll find out. The point is, once I get the synchronization, though, this puzzle's solved. Alright. It queued it up. 2. 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512. Bird beat the game. I did it. I did it. It's right there. Oh man. What? What? He's like glitching out. Oh. Oh! Oh, what? What the hell is this? What? It's like the game broke. Huh? I got to the final number, and because this person is stuck listening, it's like, wait, what? What happened? Hold on. What just happened? Until you reach at least 8,388,608. Oh. I never did 1. Damn you, game. Damn you straight to heck. Okay, that's fine. So, wait, did I ever do 1? Hang on. So we start at 0. Yeah, I go straight from 0 to 2. Damn you, game. Alright. Well, what I can do is... something kind of funny. But what I will do... This person comes over here. And then step down. They say goodbye. Everyone comes up. They step down here. They then need to drop their cube. Listen for ugh. Well, okay. They tell everyone hi and they listen for ugh, which will then start everything again. That ought to do it. They are listening for ugh. They told everyone hi. This person did not get the last hi. So they're not actually working anymore. What happened? Why didn't that work that time? Okay, they're in place. I told everyone goodbye. They're listening for hi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're listening for a hi that's never gonna come. But what? Hold on. What? This worked earlier in a different loop. Why does it not work now? Alright. If I take out one of these listens, what the hell happens? What the fuck? What? Don't make puns, birds, one mistake. That's awful. Okay, Okay. What the hell happened? Alright. New strategy. They drop, we listen for ugh. So this person tells everyone goodbye. They're then going to they're gonna do a calculation to waste some time. Then they're gonna step down, step back up. That'll get the 1 in place. And then they listen for a hi. Everyone's listening for ugh. Oh, right, then I need to tell everyone ugh. Alright, I don't know why listening for hi 7 times didn't work that time, but it's working now, and this game confuses and enrages me, but I've beaten it now. I better have won. If this pulls this shit again, where I get to the final number and the game doesn't do anything, I'm gonna be so weirded out. Yeah! Champion! With exponential growth like this, you're gonna do great. See you later, guys. Happy face. Decimal doubler. Ah. Eh.